You are listening to the Toxic Mold Podcast with Steve Worsley, the toxic mold expert and your number one source for mold consulting and mitigation in the USA. Let's dive into a brand new episode.
Before we get started on this episode, here's a not-so-short disclaimer. While all attempts have been made to verify the content provided in this podcast, neither the podcaster nor the producers assume any responsibility for errors, omissions, or alternative interpretations of the issues discussed here. All information stated in this podcast is the opinion of Steve Worsley. Steve Worsley is a mold specialist with over 25 years of experience in the construction and mold industry. The Toxic Mold Podcast is for information sharing purposes only. The views expressed are those of the podcaster and his alone. These views should not be taken as expert instruction or commands. While there may be references to medical conditions and symptoms, all podcast episodes are the opinion of Steve Worsley, and any medical questions or concerns shall be addressed with the appropriate licensed medical professional or professionals. As the podcaster refers to different mold types, please be aware that Steve Worsley is not a microbiologist, and questions concerning mold specifics should be answered by the appropriate professional. Steve isn't, nor does he offer any legal advice. For any legal advice, you must speak to a lawyer. The listener is 100% responsible for his or her own actions. You can check out Steve's books on Amazon. Just go to Amazon and search for author Steve Worsley. You can also take Steve's mold education courses, such as Mold 101 and the Mycotoxin Prevention Kit, by going to cnccontractorservices.com. Again, check out his mold education courses at cnccontractorservices.com. Now, let's get to the episode.
Hello, you're listening to the Toxic Mold Podcast with myself, Steve Worsley. We have my wife, Cassandra. Hopefully this is our final setup, for microphones.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds pretty good until we get a big podcast studio set up.
Yeah, well, that's coming someday. Anyhow, so we just had Dr. Richard's podcast episode just aired. So pretty good podcast episode.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah, she knows her stuff. So anyhow, today's topic's an interesting one. It's the Homeowners Indoor Air Quality Toolkit, 7 affordable tools that protect your indoor air quality. When you hear that, like what's the first thing that comes to your mind? If you hear about a toolkit, are you like, oh, it's a toolbox and I've got a screwdriver and a hammer?
No, I think it's things related to IAQ or indoor air quality that are going to save me time, money, and also protect my home. That's what Toolkit tells me.
Okay. All right. Well, let's just jump right into it then.
There you go. What makes you call something a homeowner's IAQ toolkit? I mean, why do people even need it? Maybe we start there.
Well, I think there's a lot that our listeners can do without having to hire professionals. So it's more preventative. And so when I say hire professionals, you don't have to hire a mold inspector to come in and look at things if you have these things in this toolkit that are already answering a lot of the questions.
I think everybody loves the idea of not having to hire a professional.
Well, I don't, because that's my profession.
Well, but I also think it's about not only prevention, but care. You know, so often we think if we can't smell something or see something, especially when it comes to indoor air quality or mold, then our house must be just fine. And I think this toolkit reminds people that there is something they have to do on a regular basis to make sure that that's true.
No, I agree. It's, a lot of times I compare a home to people's bodies. You have to maintain them.
Yes. Has to be maintained.
So just like you got to change the oil on your car and put new tires on it. When it comes to the home and the mold industry, we're trying to prevent comparing it to a car, having to replace a transmission or a engine.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and to go to some of the basics, I know this may not be a new concept for people, but sometimes I think people mix up IAQ with mold. Like they almost make it synonymous. From your expertise lens, how do you define IAQ and how does mold fit into IAQ?
Well, IAQ, indoor air quality, includes many things.
Okay.
So you have mold VOCs. EMFs, kind of. I don't know. I think some people would disagree with that, but I believe the EMFs have a lot to do with the molds doing what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
You have things like radon, asbestos, lead, carbon monoxide. I mean, I could just go on, but IAQ is not just mold.
Got it. So really, people have to think about much more than just mold.
Correct.
Okay.
Of course, that's what we focus on, but like radon the first episode of the new year, we go over goals, but usually the second one, because it's Radon Awareness Month, we talk about radon.
Absolutely. So there are lots of episodes, needless to say, that you're not going to get everything on this episode related to IAQ, but if you go back to other episodes in January and different months, you're going to find what you're looking for.
Exactly.
Okay. So then where do we start with a homeowner's IAQ toolkit? Like, what are the first 3 things that you'd recommend homeowners really have in that toolkit?
So a hygrometer, that's what we call it as professionals.
And what's the layman term for that?
Humidity gauge.
Humidity gauge. So if somebody says hygrometer to you, what they really mean is humidity gauge. Got it.
Well, I mean, they can be used both. What I typically deal with quite often is a humidity meter and a humidity gauge.
Mm.
And there's a difference.
What's the difference?
A humidity meter is what we use. So it's like a professional's meter. It's not just a gauge. A humidity gauge is something you're going to put all over in the house. A humidity meter, like what we use, we take it from room to room.
Okay. So what are you recommending be in this toolkit for homeowners?
For the humidity gauge, I would say at least have 3 hygrometers in the house.
Okay. And you can buy those off of Amazon and okay. Or Home
Yep.
Depot, Lowe's, you can.
Yeah, and you can buy, so we've talked about this quite often. You can buy the humidity gauges that are Bluetoothed.
Yes.
So they're going to be a little bit more expensive. Then you can just buy the cheap ones.
Yeah, that you just hang on the wall and they tell you what they tell you.
Exactly. For our listeners, you want to have the humidity below 60%.
Okay. So definitely the humidity gauges in 3 different areas at least will tell you whether or not you're meeting that threshold.
Yeah. And I would suggest you put those gauges in areas that have plumbing sources. So bathrooms, kitchens, utility rooms.
Mm-hmm.
We pretty much have them in every room, don't we?
We do pretty much.
Yeah.
So tool number 1 is the hygrometer or the humidity gauge. What's the second tool that should be in the IAQ toolkit?
A water alarm that you place in drip pans or like the floor of your crawl space, the floor of your basement, things like that.
Okay, so water alarms. And are those also things that you could buy that are Bluetooth and attached to an app?
Yeah, if you want to spend more money.
Okay, absolutely. So you can get them on Amazon, probably.
Yeah. Is there anything you can't get on Amazon these days?
That's a really good question.
They have a pharmacy and
Yeah.
I mean, they're just, as you say, they're going to take over the world.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so water alarms. And do you think most people have water alarms at this point?
No.
Okay.
I would assume a lot of our listeners, now I'm not saying, so there's probably listeners, a few of them out there, and they're like, Steve, we listen to you. We have some. But I would say for the most part, no. I don't think most people are even aware of them, let alone do they have them.
And so a water alarm is exactly what it sounds like, right? It will alarm you if there is more water in the area that it's located in than should be there.
If there's any water.
Oh, any water. Okay, that's a difference. Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't. So, like a humidity gauge, you can set, you have the app for the Govee.
Mm-hmm.
You can set it at whatever percentage, right?
Yeah, threshold of where you ding me if it goes above 60%.
Yeah. So to kind of explain that to a listener, when I say when any water hits it, I want to be clear. So let's say in your crawl space, in the spring, you always get about an inch of water. And that's just normal. You can put the alarm a couple inches off the floor.
Okay. So then it is above your normal threshold. But if any water touches above that normal threshold, the water alarm would let you know.
Exactly.
Okay. Does a water alarm also come with, let's say you're on vacation for a week and the water alarm goes off on your app and you're 2 states away. Can you shut off the water from the app?
If you have, which this is not part of this, the 7 affordable tools.
Okay.
If you have a whole home water monitoring system, yes, you could shut it off.
Okay. So literally the water alarm is just an alarm to tell you there's water here.
Exactly.
But the whole home water, what did you call it?
Water monitoring system.
Okay. The whole home water monitoring system remotely, you could actually shut off the water.
Correct.
Ooh, interesting.
But if you do what we do, what do we do when we leave?
Oh, yeah. We shut off the water before we go away.
Like for the water alarms, so I kind of want to touch on that just a little bit more. When I mentioned drip pans, so your water heater should be in a drip pan.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, we talked about that
Yes.
several episodes ago. If any water is in it, that's a problem.
Yeah.
So I want to be clear, like you would probably set things up a little differently if you have them in a drip pan, meaning
Okay.
it just sits at the bottom of the drip pan.
Absolutely. Because there shouldn't be any water in the drip pan is what you're
Right.
saying.
But there shouldn't be any water on your vapor barrier in your crawl space either.
Exactly.
But I'm just saying, like, if it's normal to have a little bit of water, that water alarm would be going off all the time.
Absolutely. Okay. So really water alarms are to detect any amount of water in a space or place where water should not be there.
Exactly.
Okay. So I mean, humidity gauge, tool 1, water alarm, tool 2. What is tool 3?
An air purifier.
Okay. Lots of people swear by air purifiers. What's your take on that?
So I hear this all the time, and they're like, hey, Steve, what's the best type of air purifier that I can purchase? My next question always is, well, why do you need one? That's like asking the doctor, hey, can you call me in some antibiotics? And they're going to be like, well, for what?
Well, but my answer would be the air could always be cleaner.
And I agree, but that's why I asked the question.
Yeah.
Because
But I don't know how clean the air is supposed to be. I don't know how dirty the air needs to be before I should be worried. Like, we have an air purifier and I think it's awesome, but can I tell you exactly what it's doing for us? Not really.
it's improving the air quality, just like you said, but you would be surprised. So when I have a client that says, I want an air purifier to improve the air quality, I'm like, okay, that's fair. But what I hear quite often that I don't like to hear, and this is why I asked the question, well, we have a little bit of mold in the basement. We can't afford to fix it yet. So we bought some air purifiers. Well, okay.
Yeah, because the air purifier is not going to take away the mold, right?
Or the mycotoxins, yeah.
Oh, okay. So some people think an air purifier is going to do that.
I assume that's what they think. I don't know. I just, I have to make that assumption. I can't speak for them. But my point is I think that they believe it's a short-term Band-Aid for the air quality in their home. And it could be, but it's just not a good idea.
Okay. So then why put the air purifier in the toolkit?
To improve.
Okay. Air quality.
To protect your indoor air quality.
Okay. And since we live in a closed system and most of the time most people are not opening windows or doors, does the air purifier help to circulate the air?
Yeah, it can.
Okay.
I mean, so like our unit we have in our bedroom,
Mm-hmm.
Can you feel it move in air? I can. I'm used to it.
I was going to say, not really, but
Well, after this episode, I'll get my little smoke pen out and I'll show you.
yeah.
But yes, it does. It moves the air around.
Okay.
But your HVAC unit, if you have one, does the same thing.
Okay, gotcha. But having an air purifier as tool number 3 is just an extra way to purify, to improve the air quality.
Yeah. And like I said, the headline is the Homeowners IAQ Toolkit, 7 affordable tools that protect your indoor air quality.
Okay. And so we're doubling down on it, A, being affordable, but 2, to really protect
Well,
the air quality.
define affordable. I'm a tightwad, and affordable to me is like less than $50.
Oh, no, I'm thinking less than 200.
Okay.
If it's less than 200, I go, okay, that's pretty affordable.
Yeah.
But if it's, I would assume a whole home moisture water tracking system is probably going to be well over 500.
Yeah, the whole home
Yes.
water monitoring
Yes.
system. I would say just to purchase, and I'm going to call it a contraption because I'm not a plumber. It's something that you have to install on your main water line.
Mm-hmm.
Just the contraption itself is probably $600.
Okay.
Then you've got to pay a plumber to come install it.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So we are talking 1,000 or more probably at the end of the
Yeah.
day. Okay.
Yeah, and if it's Jackson Hole, it's probably 4,000.
Probably.
But, for our listeners out there that are, maybe they have to replace the valve on their main water line, which is common. You shouldn't have to do it very often. It would be a great time to purchase that whole home water monitoring system.
Absolutely.
But that's not one of our tools. So
no. So that's not one of the 7 affordable. Right now, we've got the humidity gauge, the water alarm, air purifiers. And what is tool number 4?
It would be a carbon monoxide detector.
Okay. And I think most homes have that nowadays.
It's pretty much code. But once again, where we live, does it matter what the codes are?
No.
Because we don't have any enforcement.
No, exactly. The codes don't matter if they're not enforced because they're not enforced, right?
Well, and you have, there's different types of codes. There's international building codes. There's all sorts of stuff. Most homes, if you're a licensed contractor in most states or municipalities, you have to build to those codes. Well, here, who enforces that? Let me just ask you that. Did we have carbon monoxide detectors here when we moved in?
Certainly not.
So yeah, we had to install them on our own.
Exactly. And so you're saying this is an important affordable tool, the carbon monoxide detectors, I'm assuming, because if you don't detect carbon monoxide and it's bad in your home, it could kill you.
Yeah, they call it the silent killer.
Mm-hmm. So it's important to have those. And, and when you say they're affordable, what's the cost we're talking about?
Well, you can buy the ones that are, we have smoke detectors. You can buy the unit that's hardwired with a battery backup that's smoke and CO.
Okay.
In our profession, I'm a contractor too, so I call them a CO detector, which is carbon monoxide.
And they're
like $20.
Oh, that's dirt cheap. Is there a preferred like carbon monoxide and smoke detector or just carbon monoxide detector?
I'm more of a fan, and I'll just tell you why. The detectors we have that plug into the wall, which is what we have, they're more expensive. They're like $40 or $50, and it's a totally separate unit. I prefer that because I feel like we're getting a higher quality.
Okay.
And I think like Kiddie, KIDDIE, is one of the big brands. I think Nighthawk or something like that. I'm not telling our listeners if you have a combination smoke and CO detector that it's not accurate. I just believe having separate ones is more accurate.
Only thing I would add to that is that if you have a 95-pound lab who likes to sleep across from the CO detector and you wake up in the morning and it's off the wall and on the floor, you just have to be careful where you're putting it.
Yeah, it didn't do much good. That's our lab that she's talking about, listeners.
Yeah, he likes to, flop around everywhere. And so some mornings I wake up and that CO detector's on the ground because he's been moving his 95-pound self around.
And we're going to talk about that a little bit later, but we have our Luft, as you call it, a Lufty. It's right around the corner from where he sleeps, and so it's always yellow.
Exactly. So we've got tool number 4, carbon monoxide detector. Tool number 5 is drain pan water alarms.
Yeah, and we already went over the water alarms, so I'm not sure if I got our notes a little bit off, but drain pans is what I probably wanted to put there.
So these are 2 separate tools then. Let me just go there for a second. Water alarms is one affordable tool in the toolkit, but drain pans by itself is an affordable tool.
Exactly.
I just assumed everything has a drain pan, no?
No.
Oh.
In our home, have you seen a drain pan? Now, we haven't pulled the door off of where the water heater is.
Okay.
I would imagine there's one in there.
Okay.
But do we have a drain or drip pan for our clothes washer?
No, we do not.
Do we have we do have one in the home below Grady's water dish.
Oh, that's right, because we put that there. So again, another thing that's cheap but not standard are drain pans. So if somebody's listening to this and they don't even know what a drain pan is or where to buy one or how much it would cost, what would you suggest?
We just talked about it, a full episode.
Okay.
How long ago was that? I don't recall.
I don't know. A few episodes ago, we went all into drain pans. But for those who are listening to this and they didn't hear that one, it's kind of like, what do they need to know?
Well, you should have them below the water heater, below your clothes washer.
Okay.
Pet bowls underneath your sinks. Now, I want to be clear, if you're going to put one below your water heater, it's not just you slide it underneath it.
No.
You actually have to probably drain the water heater, unhook the water lines.
Oh, wow.
Because it goes underneath it. But think about like our clothes washer. How difficult would it be to get the drip pan under there? I mean, it wouldn't be really, really hard, but it still wouldn't be simple.
It wouldn't be simple because it's a big, hefty thing.
Exactly.
So people can go to Lowe's, Amazon, they
Yeah,
can buy drain pans. They just have to know the size that they need.
Yeah. So for a clothes washer, they're standard sizes.
Okay.
For a water heater, it depends on the gallons. So you typically have 40, 50, could be any number. Underneath your sinks, that's not a one size fits all. So you would have to measure. Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, because I'm just thinking about the person who's not handy, who's like, okay, so do I just go to Lowe's and I say, hey, I've got a water heater?
Yeah, that probably wouldn't work.
Okay, so you got to know the size of the water heater. You have to probably measure the washer or dryer. And then you can go to Lowe's or Home Depot and say, I'm looking for a drain pan for this, and it's this size.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and the way Amazon is, you probably get on Amazon and, well, where we live, there are no hardware stores. I think the closest one's, 2 hours away?
Yeah, exactly.
So
So Amazon might be your best bet if you live rural, but if you're close to a city, you could easily go in and make sure you bring your measurements and get some help. So we have drain pans. What about the next tool?
So the next one's going to get a little bit complicated. It's either a exhaust fan timer or a humidistat. So it'll go on your exhaust fan, but I'm going to, just so our listeners kind of understand it, what do you do every time after you get out of the shower?
I open the window.
But okay, before you shower, you turn on the exhaust fan.
Oh yeah, I turn on the exhaust fan.
And you leave it on for?
Probably 20 plus minutes.
Right. So instead of having to come back in and shut it off, you just put it on a timer.
Oh, so is the humidistat the same thing as the exhaust fan timer? So what's the difference?
No. So a timer is just going to run for whatever time you set it. So 20 minutes. Whereas a humidistat, you would set the humidity, let's say at like 45. And once the humidity gets down to 45, it would shut off. Both are wired electrically.
Okay.
So if it were me, I would do a humidistat because then it just shuts off automatically at a certain humidity level versus at a certain time.
Okay. So now is the humidistat a more expensive device than the exhaust fan timer?
I don't think so. It could be, but I don't know.
Okay.
But either way, you have to have an electrician install it. So you might as well just, in my opinion, get the humidistat.
Exactly, because it's better to control it by what humidity it gets down to rather than a timer where it may not in that time interval get down to the humidity you want. Okay.
Yep. Because you could set a humidistat at 45%. Let's say that takes 30 minutes. Well, you could set the timer for 20 minutes. Yeah. So when it shuts off, it might be 60%.
Yeah, still too high. Okay, so then that's definitely our next tool. What about IAQ monitors?
So that's our last piece of equipment or tool that our listeners can have in their toolbox. We've talked about the Luft a lot.
Yeah, the Lufty.
It's pronounced Luft, but as our listeners know, my wife likes to call it a Lufty. And there are different ones out there, but I'm a fan of AirGuard and then the Luft. And we actually have both.
Yes, we do. And what's the difference between what the AirGuard does versus what the Lufty does?
So the AirGuard is designed, and I'm actually on their board of advisors, it's designed to detect mold.
Okay.
And it does track the humidity and the temperature, but it's more for mold.
Okay.
Whereas the Luft, I can't remember all of them for sure, but it tracks 6 things: temperature, humidity, air pressure, TVOCs, radon, which is a big one.
Yeah.
And I think...
Isn't it carbon dioxide or no, carbon something? It's not
carbon monoxide.
Oh, okay. So, and what I like about the Lufty is that it changes colors. And so the color coding already tells you if you're in the red or not. And then you can look at the app and say, okay, that's what this means.
Exactly.
Okay.
And you get to set the parameters too, the thresholds.
Okay. And so does the Lufty give reporting? I can't remember. Like, does it send out a report? Can you pull a report?
Yeah, it'll, you put your email address in it when you first get it and set it up. It sends, I believe, a quarterly report, but it's an app on your phone.
Okay.
Just like the AirGuard. You can actually just get on your phone and check.
Okay.
So
that's really good.
And remember, for our listeners, if you buy the Luft with my link, I provide feedback for 1 year on your readings.
Absolutely. So you'll be sure to put the link to your affiliate Lufty link so that if they purchase it, they will get quarterly reporting for a year from you.
Exactly. Yep.
Really good. So what's your call to action for people?
Go out and just buy one of the things we talked about.
Okay.
And the cheapest one's probably going to be the humidity gauges or hygrometers, but at least get one.
So, but if somebody said, I have $100 to spend on Amazon for this stuff, what do you think they could get for $100?
Well, that would rule out the IAQ monitors. So
Okay.
the air guard and the Luft.
Okay.
Those are, I think the Luft's 150. The air guard is like 1,000.
Oh, okay.
But they're kind of totally different things, if that makes sense. The drip pans, they're cheap, but if you have to put it underneath a water heater, you're not probably pay for a plumber. So I would say the humidity gauges and carbon monoxide detectors.
Okay. That's where you could start for $100 or less.
Yeah, because most air purifiers are going to be more, well, I don't know what they really cost, but I know like the Ost, they're a couple $100 just for the cheapest one.
And I'm pretty sure ours was like $149.
Okay.
I think. So, and it's pretty good.
Exactly.
Yeah. So again, what do you want people to walk away with?
Just buy one of those.
Okay.
Like, go out and buy at least one humidity gauge. Costs you $10.
There we go.
All right. Well, we appreciate all of you. Have a great week.
Thanks for listening to this episode. If you're concerned about toxic mold and the health of your home, mycotoxin testing could be your next step. Visit CNC Contractor Services to discover how easy it is to test for harmful mycotoxins, compounds released by toxic molds. These comprehensive testing kits can help you identify hidden threats in your air, dust, and surfaces. When you purchase mycotoxin testing from Steve Worsley, you can also opt to get expert testing and interpretation directly from Steve. Take control of your indoor air quality today. Check out mycotoxin testing at cnccontractorservices.com.